All right, this is an all-star studio this afternoon because we're joined live not only by the Fletch man, but by Matty Johns as well.
Hi, Missile, Fletch, how are you, lads?
Yeah, we're going good. Is your microphone on, Matthew?
We got it there.
Yes,
yeah, it's
there
all
we
good.
go,
It's good.
there we go.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, I had to do the podcast with Kronk this afternoon, so I thought, you know what? I'm in this way. I'll come into the studio because last week I had to do it over the phone. I was sitting there at a service station, car park, basically having a piri-piri wrap. But I spoke to Joel today. I had some mail for him, and of course, poor old Joel, him and the family.
Yeah, they've gone down.
Yeah.
What have they got?
Zika. Oh, swine flu. No, well,
I tell you, when I was speaking to him, you could hear the echo. He and the whole family were simultaneously shitting and spewing into a single bucket.
Sounds like the Hellfire
Just
Club.
on the podcast, who's the greatest football mind that you work with at the moment? Is it backstage with Cooper Johns or Cooper Cronk?
Oh, jeez.
Or Cooper Vuna.
Cooper Vuna holiday weekend. Mate, very, very different. Very, very different. Let's face it, won 4 or 5 grand finals, represented Queensland and Australia, and the other one's a failed footballer. So I'll go Cronk.
Was that Cooper's debut the other night on Matty Johns' show? Where he did the manly...
Oh, yeah. One off.
No.
Oh,
so he's not a...
He's been on before. He was... We also... Oh, sorry. Shout out to the listener. Sorry, listeners. Welcome to the show. And Tourist and Brooks and Brasco Dom. No, remember we did the stitch up with Cameron Smith when Cooper was dressed as a homeless man. He's a Mad Parramatta supporter.
So is Cooper going to do more cameos, or that's
I don't
it?
think
One and
so.
done?
He just keeps encroaching. When he was growing up, I'd say, what do you want to do? And he said, I want to play football, then I want to go into the media. And I said, so you basically want my life? And he said, yes. And he's in the midst of doing that.
I messaged him the other day. He came over to my place one night, Fletch. It was a big night. And I messaged him during the week, said, how'd you pull up? He said, oh, no good. I had to run around North Sydney dressed as Ticketman with blokes tackling me a day off. A bit of a Larry Emder.
As dressed
so
as
he's
what?
struggling.
So what he does with Colin and Jackie, they dress
Ticket
him up
Man.
as Ticketman, like a superhero. But he's got things like Taylor Swift tickets.
Yeah, that's what he had.
They had Taylor Swift tickets, and literally like 4,000 people turned up. So he's got to run. And you basically got these aggro fathers and uncles and brothers trying to chase Ticketman to get tickets for daughters and sisters and girlfriends and wives.
Oh, if we're going to talk about mascots, the cash cow was my favourite.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think the cash cow was a dirtbag? I used to dress up like to go to Channel 7 Christmas parties in that suit and get a little bit touchy and feely. Have you heard that?
I haven't heard that, but I've heard a number of things about lots of mascots and things over the years. And a lot of mascots are secret dirtbags.
Yeah. They used to be the ones up at Bondi Junction Mall. He was in a koala suit. I'm positive he was like But it was like on meth.
But let's not throw stones. I'm off a nut right now. But yeah, like that, working at the Colin and Jackie show, it's so weird because I don't know. It just shows you what a behemoth. I mean, it's not SEN, but what a behemoth it is. Because he's just gone from being, as I said before, a fringe, really failed footballer to suddenly getting papped because he's on the Colin and Jackie show. So he's in Joburg at the moment.
Oh, what for?
Well, they just said to him. They said to him last week, do you want to go to Africa to sort of be for a week and just go and report on the celebrity, get me out of here? And he goes, yeah, sweet.
How good.
I know.
Have you been to Joburg?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is that sketchy?
Oh, heavy.
Yeah.
We went over for...
Pretty sad joint.
We went over for Hindy night, just before COVID hit, actually, and we were staying across the road from this convenience store. And the sun was just going down, and we were in there getting a Gatorade or whatever. Hindy was getting... Tim Tams or the equivalent at South Africa. And we're in there, and the lady goes, where are you guys going? So we're literally across the road. And we said, and she goes, oh, no, you can't go. I'll call you a cab. And I said, no, we're just literally across the road. It's 50 metres away. And they go, she crouched down. She said, look under that tree over there. It was like a hedge. And all you could see were these...
Cash cow.
No, it wasn't a cash cow. And you could see these legs, and they goes, those kids are going to rob you.
Oh, wow.
So we got in the Uber or the taxi and... went for a loop, and sure enough,
I was in Cape Town because I love going to a city. I love just wandering around a city, and they said, "Oh, mate, don't leave this waterfront area. Stay in the vicinity of the hotel. It's pretty sketchy." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And I just got, I I just started to get cabin fever, so I got it. Bugger it, I'm going to go for a walk. So I literally 500 minutes to the hotel, and these dudes went past and just kept circling me in their car.
Oh.
I was going, oh man, I was going. Here, you said Tim Tam.
Yeah.
Right here. We interviewed Dave and Candice Warner the other day, and I gave them the fun fact on how Donald Duck was created. You've heard that one?
No.
Donald Duck. Yeah. So this
is good.
This is good. This is good. So Walt Disney, massive cricket fan, and his hero was Don Bradman. So he went to Headingley to watch Bradman bat, and it was one of the rare times that Bradman got a duck. So he named it Donald Duck. And evidence of that, Donald Duck's middle name is the company that produced the baggy greens back in the day.
And it's what? What's the name of the company, Brooks?
Fontum.
No, Kookaburra.
Fauntleroy.
Now, Fauntleroy. Yeah, Fauntleroy. Back in the day, in Bradman's era, Fauntleroy.
Fauntleroy.
Yes. They were the originals. Now, Tim Tam.
Can I just go back to Walt Disney?
I can't tell if this is a piss take or not.
No.
Brooksy, give me a sign.
He had some questionable political
Walt
views.
Disney's Seppo.
Yep.
How did he find cricket?
I don't know. Can't answer
He had
that.
wooden teeth too.
He did wooden teeth.
Is he still
and
Walt
strange-
Disney had wooden teeth.
Yeah, wooden
Yeah.
teeth and strange political views.
And
Yeah, right.
And he's frozen.
They froze his head.
Yeah.
The whole rig.
The whole rig. I thought it was just his head, because you know how they did on Futurama.
Yeah, that's a cartoon.
They bring back the heads.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's not real.
Well, do you know,
That's not real.
There's some of the stuff he did. The American government went to him and said, listen, can you do some World War II propaganda for us to get people into the war? So if you remember, Donald Duck in the cartoons went to the war to fight the Nazis. And one of the cartoons they did, the Nazis captured Donald Duck, had him working in this factory and were torturing him. Yeah,
really?
yeah, I know. Now, Tim Tams.
Oh, yes.
Now, Tim Tams. Candice Warner told me this one because and she counted my Donald Duck, which she goes, okay, the Tim Tam biscuit. An Australian guy come up with the ingredients, made the biscuit, but didn't know what to call it. Went to the Kentucky Derby, and the year he was there, when he was trying to come up with the name of Tim Tam, the horse that won the Kentucky Derby was called Tim Tam.
Oh, fair
Wow.
dinkum.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, it's.
I've got to save this to Friday.
Yeah, I suppose. Let's talk about football because we've only got you for 20 more minutes. Actually,
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Yep.
The game on now is the Battle of the Beaches and the Birds, the Roosters versus Seagulls. They were very impressive, Matthew. Your little fella, Brooks again.
He's good, mate. He just, I mean, you don't want to rub it into Tigers fans, but it's the truth. He's playing with a smile on his face.
But it's a little bit different playing for the Tigers when you've got an international at the back and an international inside.
Well, that's right. That's right, Fletch. No, it is. And I said last night, it's really interesting watching Brooksy. For Brooksy, even though he's primarily a runner of the football, he's a very organised player. Like, he does organise well. And so, whereas you got Dearden Evans, I was talking to Cooper because Coop played, of course, last year with Dearden Evans.
Pre-season
MVP. MVP, of course. And I said, what was it like? What was Daly like? He goes, mate, he said, it was just so different. He said, Melbourne, everything's organised and choreographed. He said, Daly would just, not a big talker on the field. He said, talks, but, mate, will just do things like so impetuous. Just go bush up a short side and just really plays what he sees. He's such a reactive player. He said it took a while to get used to it. And I was watching him yesterday. Mate, there were a couple of times yesterday, just on gut feel, he'd just go shooting up a 3-metre short side.
Yeah.
And then go, it's not on. He'd jump around the other way. Very unorthodox player.
So is Tom organising it all?
Brooksy was saying that Tom is an incredible talker on the field. That's what's made things a lot easier. Tom's tipping. He's walking behind.
Yeah, you see him talking. I was thinking that.
Yeah.
You see him during the game yelling at orders a lot, but I wasn't sure if that's calling plays for himself or if it's organising the entire side.
I reckon he gets a little bit cranky too.
Yeah,
He does,
You see
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
And it's only going to get worse as you get older.
I
mean,
Did you find you got crankier as you got older?
I get real cranky now.
Oh, now?
I blew up at the Garbo the other day when I'd never blow up at a Garbo.
Really?
Well, and I didn't realise because usually they've got a couple of guys on the back, the guy driving, and I was in a one-way street in Bondi, as it's always, it's only one.
And he stopped
car.
in front of you.
And I'm thinking, come on, mate, I've got to go. I've got to hurry up. And he just jumped out and he's walking around and he came in and wanted to have a chat. And I said, mate, I've got to go. And he goes, oh, okay, it'll be like that. And then he just sat in his truck and ate his stupid pineapple donut. Far out. I could see him in the revision mirror.
Don't mess. Two people you don't mess with. Bikies and garbos.
Yeah.
Ones that don't pick up the rubbish, and the others just.
Some of them are involved in both.
Yeah,
I don't want to say the company.
Right.
Just
I
on...
tell you what, your chooks were right though. I thought the Chooks only had 39% of the ball, and I suppose they're to blame for that because of the errors. They come up with a lot of unforced errors, but I thought they played really tough yesterday, the Roosters, because from the opening kickoff, I thought that a number of the players looked quite tired and flat. I thought Victor looked really tired yesterday. They just, yeah.
Well, it's hard to win there, Brookvale, isn't it?
It's a heavy track too.
It's hard to win there. But, they're going no Luke Keary, you would think. He had that head knock, so...
Geez, I tell you what, Fletch, isn't that going to be a game Friday night?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it? Geez, there's some stuff going on at the Bunnies.
Well, they're saying that Lachlan Ilias
He's
is going to be dropped.
Look, this weekend.
But they got the Chooks have got the 5-day turnaround. So Souths have got 8 days because they played on
There's a
Thursday
Roosters
night.
fan starting to make excuses already.
Well, Jason...
No. I'm saying that Souths have been on the floor and everyone's into them.
Who's coming in? Hawkins or Wighton?
No,
Hawkins
they're saying
7 and
it's
Wighton to
interesting
centre.
because, I mean, Jason Demetriou, coming into this season, he was under a lot of pressure, and one of the things was, missing the finals last year, but there was also the Sam thing that went on.
Yeah.
Where Sam pointed out some unpopular truths,
Yep.
and they picked JD over Sam, and of course Sam's in Warrington now. So all those things were placed on Jason Demetriou's shoulders. But, mate, being 0-2 and just the circumstance around a lot of the stuff that's going on, mate, the pressure's intensifying.
Well,
and, of course, today, Josh Mansour, there was Josh Mansour with the Jimmy Graham interview.
What happened? Have we got any of that, Brooks?
We've got a bit.
Can we play it now?
Yes.
Tourist has got another new hat on, listener.
I love it.
Are you my dad?
What,
Interesting.
was he ever... No, he wouldn't have been under him.
Yes, he was.
He was he?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
And it was probably just exactly what Jason Demetriou didn't need.
No, not at this
today.
time.
But it's funny because, like, the source he's a pretty measured. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but sometimes a winger scorned. Hell hath no fury like a winger scorned.
here we go.
I'll be totally honest. Like, I probably didn't see eye to eye with the coach with JD, which was a shame on a few things. I don't know. We just didn't have a good rapport. I feel like every time he spoke to me, he didn't kind of live up to what he was saying, and I let it get to me. Like I just kind of once, twice, but there was just multiple conversations which didn't go the way that he was saying was going to go, and I was like, I'm a man of my word. Like, I was holding him to every single conversation that we had, and I was frustrated, man. I was so frustrated that final year.
Oh, there you go.
It goes
It
on.
sort of
It goes on
extends.
from there. Yeah. So basically, says Demetriou was promising, you're in the team this week, then would ghost him, tell him that he needed to be rested from games.
Round one. Going to round
Yeah,
one.
to the point. Yeah,
I'm going to rest you.
to the point where apparently Mansour told him to get effed and left his office, and then at the end of the season, they didn't tell him that he's moving on. They did a farewell video, and he was the first one to pop up on the video, and no one had spoken to him.
Oh, what Mad
So-
Mondays would have been interesting.
Demetriou needs a win.
He needs a win, and they might be desperate enough to have it.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for Lockie Ilias in the sense that now he's got Wighton back in the team. Like, he never really got a chance to play with a full complement.
It's tough. It's interesting, Fletch. Like, I tell you what South need. South need they need a new system. Like, they're moving players in and out, and I was of the belief that I don't think that Wighton is going to give them the impact they need him to give playing in the centre, playing in that 10-metre corridor. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the presence will be enough. I thought they might have moved him more into the centre field to sort of straighten him up and give him a bit of punch. Because at the moment, just the style of football they're playing, they're just putting so much pressure on themselves. They're so pass-centric, trying to play around teams, coming up with a lot of errors. They haven't got the defence to withstand the pressure they're putting on themselves. And the thing about it is, like, what the disappointing thing, because I've got to be careful. I'm a Newcastle man, but I'm a Bunnies man. I love the club. My son had 2 years there, and they were so good to him. I saw what a great club it was, and my two heroes, Clive Churchill and Johnny Sadler, Newcastle boys. I mean, Johnny Sadler, Johnny Sadler grew up in the house next door to my old man, so there's a link there. But they, going into the end of last season, boys, we saw how bad their football dropped off, and I thought, you know what? The end of the year, the season's ended. It's going to give them an opportunity to recalibrate, rejig their football. But it hasn't changed, Fletch. Now, if you compare that to the Sharks, and we showed the Sharks last night, Missile, with Nico Hines, the Sharks have obviously sat there and said, righto, why aren't we successful against the best teams? Why aren't we winning finals football? And they've addressed that. They are playing a really physical, tough style of football. I just look at South and I think to myself, boys, did you sit there? Did you discuss what happened at the back end of last year? Why you dropped off a cliff? Because really, Fletch, not a lot of it's changed.
No, and I suppose if they want to get some sort of blueprint, look at what Canberra are doing. So Canberra have gone 13 plus, although it was against the Tigers, but they did 13 plus against the Knights, and they scored a lot of their points, especially against Newcastle at the back end, where they were just wearing teams down. Now South could do that.
Yeah,
if they get down their end of in good ball, they're very hard to stop.
Fletch, you always should view talent as a bonus. The talent is the cream on top of the cake. If you try to base your game, or if you trust your talent too much, when teams do that, they do fall off a cliff. And that's the example, Fletch, we're talking about the Raiders. The Raiders lost Wighton, and they've obviously gone away and said, righto, what do we need to do to be successful? We need to complete really high. We need to fight for everything. We've got to have stiff defence. We've got to be gritty. We've got to be tough. And they don't suffer an identity crisis. That's exactly what they are.
Can I just ask you on that Raiders-Tigers game, we saw the battle of the two 5'8", 119, 118, Ethan Strange and young Lachlan Galvin. It's always super intriguing when these young halves come through because, I don't know, as we go through time, it seems like less and less of them go on to be stars. They seem to struggle, really young halves. Of those two, who do you think is a better prospect as a long-term half for their club?
Oh, it's so tough, Missile, because, I really liked what Ethan did. He got really fit. And they're different footballers, Missile. The tough thing for young Lachlan is the fact that, he's playing in a team that is struggling. He's playing behind a pack of forwards that were badly beaten. Mate, the kid had one hand tied behind his back, so it's very, very hard to judge. But both of them have got a good future.
Do you remember when, Matty, the Broncos got the spoon? Was that 2020?
Yes.
And remember Tommy Dearden was making his debut? Yeah. And they basically, and Kevy came out afterwards and said his forwards let him down. So look at Tommy now. So that's three seasons ago, 4 seasons ago. I can see a little bit of Tommy Dearden in this Galvin.
Yeah.
Like, he just kept trying. Like, this is his first game. He was overcalling it, although Caesar,
despite the game, he still had 14 runs, 146 metres, 34 post-contact, 3 tackle breaks, line break.
He's a good
got after it.
He's a really good prospect. He's got a little bit of swagger about him. He's
pretty
very confident
tall.
kid. He's tall.
Yeah. He might end up like a Isaiah Yeo type player.
Well, Fletch, he's a clever ball player. But also on top of that, he's a terrific runner of the football. So look, he has got a big future. It's funny about Tommy Dearden. Like, hasn't Tom Dearden? Like, I think eventually you get what you deserve, one way or another. And for Tom, he has been coming through the grades as a young bloke, incredibly dedicated. They told me, but come into that time at the Broncos, you could not come into a worse situation. You really couldn't. Every single person under pressure in the club.
We saw it inside into Tommy Dearden. We're doing that push-up challenge. So this was in the off-season, Missile, and we're doing it to every team, every club. It's that Sally.
Bring Sally up.
Yeah. So anyway, Tommy was near the last last team we did. So a lot of the blokes would stop. Dylan Brown.
It's like a 3 minute. It's like 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tommy
Dylan Brown, honestly, from the first push up till his 60th, whinged everyone, didn't he?
He probably could have kept going. Tommy Dearden won, and you could just see that he didn't want to get beat.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't say too much. His body was shaking, and I said, "That's enough, Tommy. You've got the record." He just kept going.
He said, the coach, Toddy Payton, when I interviewed him last year, I said, like, how good Tom has been. I said, tell me what shape he turned up to when he went to the Cowboys from the Broncos. And he openly said, Tom was a shell. He said he'd second guess himself. He said he wouldn't talk. At training, he'd be biting his fingernails. He said he was a nervous wreck. But, through whatever his makeup is, he's gone through that. And 2 games into his captaincy, you just know he's going to be one of the best captains in the competition.
Well, we've got a half in here. Can I ask you one other question on halves?
Yeah, no
Bulldogs 0-2. Burton and Hutchison in the halves.
Yep.
Stick or switch? Sexton.
Stick or flick?
Stick
Well, this
or
should be a
flick?
new segment.
Stick or flick?
Stick or flick?
Firstly on Burton, good on Burton, because Burton was being chewed up by what he perceived were responsibilities and organising the side. And, here's something. I said this, the other day this is testimony to the character of Matt Burton. Well, I went on with Cooper Cronk, and we did it on Thursday show, and I was a believer. I said, I think Matty, even for a short time, should go back to centre to stimulate his running game and get him going. Then you might move him back, but I think he needs that move. Well, bugger me, I get a phone call the next day, and I look down, and it's Matt Burton. I thought, oh, here we go. You know, you get these.
Yeah,
I've had ones when I write articles about coaches, you know, and they ring and you go, mate, please, 600 words of free advice. Read it again, champ. Anyway, so Burto rings me, and I said, aha. I said, Burto, let me guess what this is about. And he said, no, Matty. He said, I just listened to you and Cooper Cronk were talking about. Can you extend on that for me? Tell me, like, what you think. Anyway, we just said we had a bit of a chat about it, and he was really good. But what you saw of him the other day was that he really uncomplicated his game. Didn't tangle himself in knots. He didn't try to steer the side around the park. He didn't try to finesse the football. He did one of two things. He either took on the bloke in front of him with his size, speed, and his footwork because he's a big guy, or he just fed Kikau early.
Yeah,
very simple.
Worked.
One of two things.
Yep.
And he was fantastic. He was really good. With the Hutchinson thing, it was funny because I watched Sexton through the trials. I liked what I saw in Sexton.
Yeah, me too.
But, you know, it is hard to chop and change with the halves.
Do you think with the Bulldogs now, that left side is everything?
Yeah.
There's not much happening on the right side with Hutchison. Taff
But they've got
prefers to
young
swing to
Preston
that
who-
left as well.
Last year, Preston was the go-to.
Every
man.
time they loaded up, though, they just went settler to the right,
Yeah,
left,
come back to
left,
left.
left. The game plan now, if you're playing the Bulldogs, surely is just we stack that left side and we're good to go.
It's difficult because, I mean, Burton, Kikau, and Crichton have got that understanding. You know, they played a fair bit of football together with the Panthers. The other side of the field, mate, they're basically, as far as combinations, they're still strangers.
Yeah.
So they'll get there. I think I can actually see the Bulldogs
coming
picking
good
up
late.
in the middle of the season, Fletch. I reckon they'll get going because, mate, the Sharks are playing. The Sharks are playing great football. Their football has really improved. Playing far more physical. Playing exactly, you know, how they need to play if they're going to have an impact in the finals. And they stuck it for a long time with the Sharks. It was a great first half of football.
All right, we've got to let you go to Cooper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cooper
Vuna.
Cronk.
Cooper Vuna.
Not the Cooper
just
of the Johns variety.
I want to tell the listeners about this T-shirt you're wearing. It's
I
red,
rate
blue, and it's an Adidas.
Yep, it's on debut. It's the first time I've worn it.
And
Are you
it's
sponsored?
No, I'm not, unfortunately.
Do any of the boys
I'm more than
get
happy to
freebies?
be. Hey?
Do any of the boys get freebies?
Oh, mate, the younger bloke, he's ruthless. It's just a never-ending stream. People just, mate, mattresses.
Mattresses.
Used
or just on that. How rank are mattresses? The stains you get, because around, do you see them? There's a lot of obviously backpackers
around the road in
Bondi,
Bondi,
so they throw them just down the street. I'm amazed by the stains, and they're not just on one side; they're everywhere. Is it sweat?
Yeah, it's
Or is
sweat.
it-
But mate, I've had a couple of big nights on the vodka. And you wake up, It's always a terrible feeling. I always go. I try to say to Trish, "Oh no," she goes, "What? Don't tell me." And I go, "Oh no, I've had a big night sweating."
Mate, I've got a story. I'll tell the ad break, but I'll just tease the audience. So I got a mate called Meadsy. He went to the sleazeball in 1995. Anyway, he got lucky with a girl, gets back to her house, and all she's got, nothing in the bedroom except a bed with a really hard plastic cover on the top. That's all. And cotton wool balls. That's all I've got for you. I'll tell you the rest after the break. We've got to go to a quick break.
Yeah,
I'll be
love it.
back after this. See you later.